Dear students, this is Applied Linguistics and Indian Linguistics Tradition class. And today we shall discuss the topic concepts of language learning. Okay, under this topic, we shall discuss many subtopics. For example, introduction, learning, what is acquisition and learning, what are the differences between L1 and L2. L1, that is mother tongue, and L2 is second language. Okay, and stages of child's phonetic development, and how and why child acquires the first language L1, how child learns L2, and what is the difference between learning and acquisition. Learning a second language, who is second language learner, all these topics will be discussed in this lecture. As we know that language learning is an active process by which the language capability develops in human. This process uh, commences at birth and continues throughout life. Students learn language as they use it to communicate their thoughts, feelings, and experiences, establish relationships with family members and friends, and strive to make sense and order of their world. They may come to school speaking more than one language or learn another language in school. It is important to respect and build upon each student's first language. Experience in one language will benefit the learning of other languages. Language development is continuous and recursive. Students enhance their language learning by using what they know in new and more complex context and with increasing sophistications. Now, we shall discuss about learning. What is learning? According to Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, learning is gaining knowledge or skill by study, experience, or being taught. Psychologists have various views about learning. Cognitive theories claims that we learn by insight, interpretation, and by solving the problems. According to associative theory, we learn by trial and error. Now, we shall discuss the factors which affect the learning process. As we know that learning theories differ from each other on many counts. The factors which affect the learning process are mentioned below, that is understanding, repetition, capacity, and motivation. Repetition permits the reinforcement of patterns and their conversion into habit or skills. Learners learn something better if they understand what is involved and if they know exactly what they are doing. Psychologically speaking, motivation determines how much a person will learn and when he will learn it. Capacity has to do with how much a person is able to learn in comparison with other individuals. According to the psychologists, the language learning process can be defined in terms of conditioning, and it gives emphasis on repetition, imitation, and drill. Now, we shall discuss the concepts of learning and acquisition. What is learning and what is acquisition? As we know that learning and acquisition both are different. Learning is gaining knowledge or a skill by study, experience, or being taught. As we know that second language is learnt, not acquired. In linguistic context, the term acquisition is defined by A.S. Hornby as gaining something by one's own ability, efforts, or behavior. According to Collins Co-Build Dictionary, acquisition of a skill or habit is the process of learning it or developing it. Now the questions comes in mind that what is acquisition? Acquisition is automatic and natural, but learning is purposeful and artificial. A child acquires his mother tongue, he does not learn it. He acquires the mother tongue naturally, gradually, automatically, and unknowingly. There is no formal teaching for acquiring the mother tongue. Okay? The child listens to his family members using the language and acquires the sounds, vocabulary, meanings, and grammar of language. Now, we shall discuss the stages of child's phonetic development. The main stages of a child's phonetic development are: number one is crying, and second is babbling, and third is lactation, and fourth is talking. How child acquires the first language? It is remarkable that child acquires the first language through: number one, trial and error; second is rote memory; and third is imitation; and fourth is association; and fifth is analogy. Why child acquires L1? Child succeeds in acquiring the first language because uh, it is his need, and he cannot live and function without it. It is essential for him to acquire the mother tongue anyhow. There is no syllabus, books, examination of the acquisition of the first language. Now, the question is how child learns L2, that is second language. On the other hand, second language is learned deliberately. Mother tongue is learned automatically, but second language is learned deliberately. This is not natural process. Second language learning takes place in an artificial environment through formal teaching. In learning, teachers teach a second language in schools or at home through prescribed syllabus, course, or textbooks. For this, examinations are conducted for evaluating the performance of the child's learning a second language. Learning language is something optional for child. This is not compulsory, but mother tongue is not optional, that is compulsory. This is the basic difference between acquisition and learning. He may or may not learn it. It is his choice. In some cases, he has to learn it because of external pressure and compulsions, which may be political, administrative, social, and educational, etc. Now we shall discuss. Now we shall discuss the basic difference between learning and acquisition. Acquisition of a language requires meaningful communication in the language, which is also called natural communication. Learning of a language is based upon less communication and more explanation of grammar rules. During acquisition, a child is not aware of grammar rules and he intuitively learns what is right or wrong, as there is a constant meaningful communication. Acquisition is subconscious, while learning is conscious and deliberate. In acquisition, learner focuses more on text and less on form, while he focuses on form alone in the learning process of a language. Mother tongue is mostly acquired, while second language is mostly learned. This is the basic difference between learning and acquisition. Now, the question is, what do you mean by learning a second language? As we know that acquisition and learning both are different terms. Now the questions arise how a child learns a second language and what difficulties he faces while learning it. It is very clear that learning of one language in childhood is an inevitable, unavoidable process. The learning of a second language is a special accomplishment. Only a few learners succeed in mastering a second language. There are many reasons for this failure. Some of the main reasons are given below. Who is second language learners? A second language learner is one who has had the experience of another language. He tries to learn a second language in the same way he acquired his first language. That is the reason why second language learner fails in learning. Unfortunately, the environment and surroundings in which he acquired his mother tongue is not available for him now. Unlike the mother tongue, now he tends to learn everything consciously. He tries to find in the second language grammar features which are equivalent to those of his first language. These are the basic reasons which uh, creates difficulty in learning second language. According to W.F. Mackay, the learning of first language follows the same pattern for everyone. The learning of second language can take on a variety of patterns. Second language learning is greatly affected by linguistic, social, and psychological factors. There are certain similarities and dissimilarities between two languages in terms of grammar, phonology, lexicography, semantics, orthography, syntax, stylistics, etc. A second language learner may not hear people using the second language around him. He may not come in contact with the real language in the social context. A learner of second language, however, may have no contact with the community in which the language is spoken, and this may be one of the reasons for his failure to learn or maintain his second language. Even if he comes in contact with the second language, the types of contact may vary according to the factors like time, population, use, skills, standards, attitudes, and pressure. That's all about the concepts of language. Next lecture, we shall discuss about the factors that influence second language learning. Thank you.